The Predictive Media Network is the first research-based training model and gives spokespeople for any organization a predictable pattern to better prepare for any media encounter. Hi, I'm Russ Ray. We analyzed more than 3,000 interviews to determine the most likely question types. Now, if it's your responsibility to make sure spokespeople within your organization are ready to face the media, this is a model that helps them know what to expect. An excellent demonstration of the Predictive Media Network model is the high-profile interview NBC's Matt Lauer did with anchor Brian Williams when he returned from a suspension over embellishing elements of news stories he covered. In our model, which takes you through an interview's most likely path, following the introduction is the first question, which we call the opener. Our research shows that there's an 80% chance the first question will be an open-ended softball that generally gives the spokesperson an open field to say the most important thing they want to get across to the audience. Here is Matt Lauer's opener.
What have these past 5 months been like for you?
It has been torture. Looking back, it has been absolutely necessary.
Next is the probe question, which is designed to put you on the spot with an exact answer. Questions like, true or false? Yes or no? The critics are right, aren't they?
Why? Did you have doubts about some of the things you've said over the years?
I was reading these newspaper stories, not liking the person I was reading about.
In a media interview, you have about a 20% chance you'll get a clarifier question. Something like, so what you're saying is, or isn't it true that?
And I was sloppier, and I said things that weren't true.
So you say sloppy. So did you not deal with the reality that when you walked away from NBC, whether it was to appear on a late night talk show or some other venue, some other interview show, that the title and the responsibilities of anchor/managing editor of nightly news traveled with you?
I think that's exactly it.
Proxy or representative questions are also commonly asked in media interviews. This is where reporters talk about things critics are saying and try to put you in a defensive position. Questions like, a lot of parents are concerned about the safety on this campus. What do you say to them? Here's Matt Lauer's proxy question to Brian Williams.
I worry as you say this, Brian, that people who are going to have listened to your apology on air and in other areas, Facebook and Stars and Stripes, who heard you use words like conflated aircraft or made mistakes with my memory of certain things, are now going to hear what you're saying now, and they're going to say, he's still saying he didn't intend to mislead people, and yet he didn't tell the truth, and he had to know, as the guy who lived through those experiences, that it wasn't the truth.
I see why people would say that.
You also have about a 20% chance a reporter will ask you a hypothetical question in an interview.
Had you gone on the air that night and said, folks, I lied and I'm sorry, do you think the outcome would have been different? Do you think forgiveness would have come sooner?
I think perhaps yes.
And finally, most interviews end with some sort of offer. Things like, anything you'd like to add? What's the big takeaway? Now, in this interview, it initially sounded like a gotcha question, but ended up being a softball because Williams had an easy bridge or transition to what he wanted the audience to hear.
We live in a world right now, Brian, where people are not going to let this just rest. And so if there are other circumstances and other situations where you didn't tell the whole truth, would you like to take this opportunity now to correct the record on those?
I would like to take this opportunity to say that what has happened in the past has been identified and torn apart by me and has been fixed.
When you watch or listen to a full media interview, you will likely hear these types of questions. At the Predictive Media Network, we use this as the basis for our training to give spokespeople a better sense of what to expect and how to respond effectively. Thanks for watching.